Yeah. How y'all doing?
Oh, this is going to be a pretty mostly commentary based series because as for actually playing the game, I play a lot of this game. Like I play it just to kind of whenever I'm listening to a podcast or something, if I want something to do, I'll just play this. So I'm really good at this game. I'll probably beat it in a few episodes.
That's what I did with Isaac. I
So
think I
we're
played
just gonna kinda
STS
go
and
through
Isaac so much because I'd be listening to a podcast or something while I'd be playing.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I'm trying to listen to something, I'll just flip on Clustertruck or Robot Dodgeball or something like that and just play.
Well, the thing is that roguelites and platformers are really good for that because you don't have to think. That's why I can't listen to music when I'm playing League if I'm trying to be competitive.
Wait, really?
I mean, I can, but it's like if I really want to.
I guess sometimes it kind of puts me on autopilot when I listen to music while playing League. Sometimes.
So you do like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't know, Alex is really good at this game.
I am pretty good. I have pretty close to the world record on some stages. Ooh.
I thought you got some records before.
I have the record on a download stage. I have close to the record on a few real stages.
I remember watching you trying to get the record on one of the stages.
I was one millisecond off for a long time.
That was really funny.
So yeah, I don't know, the average YouTube playlist, you'll see World 1 in about an episode. We're a minute in, and this is the second to last level of World 1 right here. World 1's pretty easy, though.
Alex is pretty good.
Alright, so as for I don't really know what we're supposed to talk about on this episode of SaltFault this.
I was going to talk more on
Oh, what? I got pushed.
Kind of... I guess the stuff that I like to do, like the games that I like to play a lot when I was younger.
Sure. Oh my god, he jumped right into it.
That's
funny.
That's
one for the death counter. All right, yeah, go on. What there we go.
Me personally, it's just we were talking in an earlier episode on the Pokemon Black and White that'll come out. I think
it might come out. That's a hard might.
That's a hard might.
I think we'll definitely play. Okay, so if this video comes out first, which it most likely will, we're definitely going to be playing Pokemon Black and White, but we don't know if it's the same one that we're talking about here. Oh my god, who's messed up?
Yeah. But in an early episode that we were trying to record today, we were talking about kind of card games and things that we did when we were younger, that kind of stuff. And so it kind of made my brain spark a little bit. And I thought back to the olden days when I played stuff like the N64. That was my game.
Dude, I played. I was on the GameCube. I was the GameCube and occasionally the Dreamcast. I had a Dreamcast. I played a few games on it.
Oh, dude!
But I was all about the GameCube and the Wii. But I played GameCube games on the Wii. I didn't really play
I guess
Wii
the reason
games.
I didn't do very much GameCube is because now that I look back on it, it's we couldn't actually afford.
Well, yeah,
the newest and the latest games.
As a kid, I just loved playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I just played that every day for just hours. So I had to get the GameCube for that game.
You want to know something funnier? I think about it, and I think about the PS2 and how terrible PS2 graphics were, and how bad their games were in that sense, but how good they were just to be they were fun games, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just gameplay over aesthetic. A lot of older games are still hold up just because they're so fun, and they don't even really look competitively good.
I think as opposed to AAA titles.
Oh my god, I just messed up.
And then I think about it, and I'm like, those games, the PS2 cost $200 and some odd when you first bought it. It almost costs as much as most AAA titles nowadays. $300, I think, was what the PS2 was starting price, something like that, $250, something ridiculous like that. And the games, $60. Spyro 2 was $60 if you didn't buy it.
Was it really?
One of the Spyro games, the Spyro game for the PS2, that one of the first ones that came out, it was the adventure one that he had, the one where it was a different story, where it wasn't the Toyland, but it was an actual world kind of thing, where he was.
I've never played a Spyro game. I know people like it, but I've never played any. That's a thing. That's another thing that we should definitely play on. God damn. Okay, 2 deaths. I think I don't really know.
We're playing my favorite Spyro game. So people are gonna say it's controversial.
Oh my god! I did it again. Oh no! Okay.
The Skylanders universe one. Okay, Skylander was. I don't like Skylander. I thought it was a weird system, but Spyro started that all, I think, and the universe that's based in is more geared towards the new series. I think it's Spyro New Dawn or something like that is what it's called. But most Spyro games that were you got your typical cute little toy Spyro, and that's the story kind of thing, right? It's the cute thing. It's funny. It's he's not really the epic dragon of the stories that the game that I played was, which had a lot more depth of stories. It was a really cool game, and I might actually have to check what the game was called, like what the actual game was.
I mean, I'd be down to play any stuff like that on SaltFault if we
pretty much what you did is that, like, the original Spyro game, like I was talking about N64, and now I'm talking about the Spyro. Tangent, that Spyro game was, like, pretty much you started out...
Wait, no, I can do an even better skip.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Pretty much you start out thinking that you were, a firefly dude kind of thing, like you were part of that family and you were raised by fireflies and it's this cute little thing. But it turns out that you're actually like one of the last of the dragon race. And that this evil person had tried to annihilate all the dragons, right? Definitely not like the other Spyro stuff, the all cutesy stuff.
I guess. So it was a little more hardcore, because I don't really know this race.
It's a little more hardcore.
Stuff.
It's not as hardcore as some like dragon games and whatnot, but it's still a little bit more hardcore. But like, for example...
Oh, I didn't! Like, oh, there we go.
That was pretty sick. But like in that game, it was such a good game because it was a platformer action type where having like different abilities. You know how like back in the olden times when they used to make games, having abilities was a thing, right? Like you had abilities that upgraded, you could switch out different abilities,
and then like stuff like where you could find abilities hidden in stages, and it was like, oh, it'll buff your run.
It was like you learn like fire or electricity or water, and so pretty much you go throughout the beginning platformer stages, and you have to leave you on a quest, and you go to, I think, what was it?
Oh, that one's too hard.
There's no way you make that. Yeah, no.
No. I've tried that.
You go on a quest thing, and you go through like what was it? Yeah. So you're going on a quest, and you eventually meet this dragon. Says you find out your past and that you are like this rare, super special dragon that knows every single like they can learn every type of ability, and I think it teaches you like fire or lightning first. I'm not sure.
Right.
But like, that's dumb. Funny. So pretty much you that's the whole thing, right? You start to learn that, and then you go throughout the levels and you're trying to beat all these bosses. It's like whenever it was like beat the platformer levels, you fight people and then you fight the boss, right? All that stuff. They did that so well. And it's back when story was a priority in games, and it was good story. It wasn't crappy story. It wasn't like it takes 5 hours to finish the story. It was back.
It wasn't
like,
overdone.
Tomb Raider, all that good stuff, like old Just Cause, like all the good story archetypes were there. And so they did it really, really freaking well. And so it was a really, really fun game to play as a kid. And I think I got it. For, like,
I played. I told you I played I played like a few Sonic games as a child, and then I also played how you say Spore a lot, which is still one of my favorite games. And I think we should definitely play on SaltFault.
Oh yeah,
that game,
I played Spore a lot.
I mean, I think Spore. I don't think it holds up that good, but I think it's still extremely fun. Like
I made the mistake of buying the weird Spore that was for the Wii.
Oh my god, yeah, I played there's one for the DS. Oh, we should play that if we can find an emulator. It's not good at all, but I beat it as a child.
I know.
And there's also Spore they tried to make a League clone, or like not like not open, but it was not how you say it. It was that type of game. It was like a top-down fighting style game. And you had like abilities. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember. But on the ending of the Spyro conversation, that's a Spyro game. Like I said, the story archetype was insane. Like one of your main bosses that you had to fight. Like when you think of Spyro, if any older people are watching this, like I say older, like 30s, 40s kind of people. I don't know that most people won't be or like that. Or even if you're like 20 something.
Hello, all 80-year-old men watching SaltFault. Shout out!
Yeah, I know.
Woo, let's go.
Like if you're near our age, you probably have played the oldest Spyro, which was a really good game itself. Like, but you know that those stories was actually there was some dark stuff. Like the main dragon you fight was a girl dragon that actually got corrupted by by the main boss, right? And she turned into this giant dragon that was terrifying. And at the end you actually save her after you defeat her.
That's close.
Like she's the final boss, I think. And you save her after you defeat her, and she turns small again and turns into the size of you.
Right,
and then they tried to make a Wii sequel to that series that was just super detailed and really weird. Because it was way darker than any of the other games.
Yeah.
But
how's the gameplay? What is it, like a Spyro? Is it like a platformer? So
Spyro was back in the time where platformers and fighting games were one and the same, right?
Yeah, kind of open
so you
world,
would fight
3D.
You fight enemies on the
action
open world kind of style thing. Yeah, it was an action game, right?
Yeah.
So more along the lines of Donkey Kong 64 or Mario 64 kind of thing, right?
All right. More games I've never played.
What? That sucks.
More stuff we need to play on SaltFault eventually, so I can experience it.
Did you ever play this? Okay. Did you ever play the older Zelda games?
Nope, I never played a Zelda game other than that Nintendo Switch one. I played a little bit of that. That's pretty good.
I was gonna say Twilight Princess, but
I never played. SaltFault's just gonna be me getting a childhood of games that I just didn't actually play.
Funny part about Twilight Princess is that Spyro is nothing like Twilight Princess, but it's as close as I can think to the platformer situation where you fight. It sucks that you don't know anything like that. That's the funny part.
He's going too fast, boys.
What's a game that I can relate you to? I don't.
Dude, I do not. I know a lot of game archetypes, but I really didn't play that many video games. I always just find one thing, then play a lot of it.
Huh. Yeah, but no, that was one of my childhood games. But that was more when I was 12, 11, I think. Before that, the PS2, Lego Star Wars, and
I played that. Yeah, I played that. That was alright.
Lego Star Wars was my jam.
No! Ran out of juice.
Me and my sisters played all the time. Sonic games, the ones where the graphics weren't that great, but they were still really good.
Yes, I liked some of the. Oh, I'm going too fast on this level. Can't really.
On the N64, I almost completed Donkey Kong 64, but my copy of the game was corrupted, so you couldn't actually fight the final boss no matter how much stuff you did, which was really ticking me off. I still haven't completed it because of that fact. Yeah, I would have beaten the game a long time ago. I think I full completed Mario 64 before when I was really young. I played a lot of GoldenEye with my sisters.
Alright.
Skyrim was a big one. And then the love of my life was this Dreamcast game. That was it was like a Final Fantasy game. I remember I got the Dreamcast from a thing called the Path, I believe, or something to that effect. It was a student center, right?
Right.
And I got my I got it from there because they were just selling stuff, and it was they were selling it for $5. And if you don't know about the Dreamcast, it had some stuff that looked really intuitive that was really just not. So Alex, you remember the Dreamcast had that little save thing you held around? You could look at your games and play little mini games on it.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And you plug it into the controller, you put it on top of the controller and it slides in. Right? I saw that and I was oh, that's the stuff, right? And it's the memory card. It's literally just a memory card that has 2 pixelated games.
It's extra fancy. What is this level? Stop!
But that was there's a game in there that was pretty much just a precursor to what Final Fantasy, right? It was a precursor to Final Fantasy style games. I think before they really got popular. Or was it maybe a copy of it? I don't remember. But yeah, I got it. But I played that game for hours and hours. It was a turn-based fighter with terrible graphics, but was so fun. It was one of the most fun games I've ever played. Again, good story.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up the game.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and that was a good discussion. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the first episode of this off because I am halfway through the game in 15 minutes. This is halfway through, so we're gonna probably come back in and finish this game on episode 2. See you guys.